Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Penny Dreadful. This week's episode was Season 2, Episode 5, Above the Vaulted Sky. And, I'm a little bit late getting this review out to you guys. Not as late as last week, as I said in my Game of Thrones review. And as far as putting out my Game of Thrones review first, doesn't mean I prefer Game of Thrones right now, but I will say that the Game of Thrones episode from this week did overshadow Penny Dreadful a bit. But nonetheless, Penny Dreadful remains to be such a high-quality series each week it airs as well. And, you can freely enjoy both shows. I think people put too much time and effort into comparing shows. Like how Game of Thrones is being compared left and right to The Walking Dead after the episode from Sunday now. But, I just feel like you can enjoy different shows for what they are, just enjoy them individually for what they do, instead of wasting a breath, or using a breath trying to say which one's better than the other. And, I enjoy Game of Thrones and Penny Dreadful both for different reasons. I love the supernatural element in Penny Dreadful, because I'm a big horror fan and such like that, but of course, Game of Thrones now has more of a supernatural factor too. But, of course, Penny Dreadful is still much more horror, gothic-oriented, and things like that. So it's still a very different show, as is Game of Thrones, as it's more medieval fantasy and things like that. But yeah, this isn't a comparison video. So the episode this week of Penny Dreadful, I wouldn't say it was as good as the episode from last week, which was Evil Spirits in Heavenly Places. I think I enjoyed that episode a bit more just because of one of the reasons being because of that climax at the end of the episode of the nightcomers attacking, the house and stuff like that. That wasn't really top this week, but we did get some pretty intense sex scenes at the end of the episode, so we'll go over those in a few minutes. One of the more intriguing parts about this week's episode to me, was the interaction between the Ethan and the inspector. And the inspector's beginning to look more into Ethan than he has been previously, because he's writing down the names of everyone who was living in the Mariner's Inn at the time of the massacre, which he's been looking into. And everyone's been accounted for except for Ethan and Brona. And we know Brona is now Lily, so yeah, it's going to cause some issues later. I'm still planning on that, but especially when Ethan sees Lily later on. But, so Ethan's trying to be friendly with him. He's trying to put up this act. They're both kind of putting up an act with each other, It's kind of at a point where, which one's going to jump and draw first, you know what I mean? It kind of had that kind of intensity to it. And, it seemed that the inspector wanted to do more with Ethan, or perhaps even arrest him or hold him somewhere for questioning, as he himself and a couple of his men tried to chase Ethan down, but Ethan managed to escape and get back to the house. But we did see that same survivor, with the leather on his face and the mess, over the disfigurement and the messed up eye and stuff like that. He did see where Ethan went to. I'm still wondering, I'm pretty sure that guy's probably going to be someone personal in Ethan's life. I'm not sure if it's going to be his actual father, but maybe someone Ethan recognizes, or someone Ethan has had prior experience with. But we shall see. So there's that. That was all good. And they did start fortifying the house, obviously, of course, after the nightcomers attack last week. And, they definitely reinforced the door, with some very heavy material. And they said they locked up the windows pretty tightly. But really, though, you're attacked by witches like that, and, possibly other creatures too, like vampires have gotten in the past and stuff like that. It just seems like they would want to fortify and reinforce the windows a bit more, just cover them up with the same material used for the door. Or something along those lines. Anyway, some kind of extra defense besides locks. Okay? I don't know. That's just the one bothersome part about it to me. I just feel like that's a little bit odd. I don't think it's that the characters won't think of that, I just think it's that the writers perhaps just kind of want to keep like a loophole type of thing for shit to still happen in the house. But yeah, we'll see. It's still not a big deal though, you know. You gotta give, you know, shows and movies some leeway with that stuff. But still, it's just a little minor gripe. And let's see, Vanessa is becoming more and more paranoid about the witches ever since they came in last week, especially. You know, she's praying, and you know, she doesn't know if she's actually seeing them anymore or if they're actually there. And you know, in a way, I think they may and they may not be at the same time. You know, I think they may realize when she's trying to do things like that, but they're not always physically there. They may be trying to still screw with her mind at times like that. I don't know. Or maybe most of it is in Vanessa's head, as far as them appearing like they did in this episode with her. Let's see, of course, Victor, you know, Dr. Frankenstein, brings Lily over to meet Vanessa for that, you know, tea time and stuff like that, and it wasn't quite as awkwardly hilarious as Vanessa and Victor buying a dress last week, but it was still pretty awkward, I'd say. And, you know, Lily got along okay, but of course Vanessa had to carry the conversation. I was kind of waiting for Vanessa to hopefully recognize Lily as Brona, as I do think she did meet Brona at least once in season 1. And she did kind of turn back and see Victor and Lily, I should say, you know, interacting and stuff. I was hoping to see like her face become more serious or something because she knew who it was or something. But no. And, you know, some people complain about that, but I don't think it's really a big deal. Because, that, you know, like Victor put so much time into making Lily / Brona look different anyway. And, you know, Vanessa had only met Lily once on that one occasion. So, you know, and that was when she was in that whole messed up thing with Dorian, too. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if she doesn't recognize her. But, so there's that, and I also love the conversation between Vanessa and the creature this week, or I should say John Clare. Just, it's some of the most well-written stuff on the show right now, the conversations between the character of Vanessa and John Clare. I mean, it's them talking about the poetry of John Clare, the actual poet, and, you know, just them sort of telling each other things, giving each other insight into their lives and things of that nature. And Vanessa mentioned her friend, Victor, and, you know, she at least sees that he's in love with Lily, you know, has this, like, twisted fascination with her. Of course, Vanessa doesn't realize how twisted it actually is, because she still thinks it's a cousin type of thing. So, I mean, that's bad in and of itself on normal occasions, but, you know, it's not as twisted as killing someone and then bringing him back to life, but... Anyway, so there's that. And like I said, yeah, the episode pretty much ended with a lot of sex scenes. And one almost sex scene, too. But, of course, we've seen Victor and Lily actually hooking up, because we knew Victor was interested in her, so we kind of seen this part coming. Of course, Lily being frightened by the storm and such. And... you know, I kind of figured that was going to happen. It still kind of irritates me that he's trying, you know, he's supposed to be trying to help John Clare or the creature. And, you know, he's kind of going a little bit too far with that. I think he should kind of hold back a little bit more with that stuff, because that's just going to cause even more issues between him and his first son, you know what I mean? But, of course, Victor lives a pretty isolated life, sort of like John Clare, too. You know, they're more alike than they realize, I think. So it's not that much of a surprise that would happen. It's just I kind of feel for John Clare in the situation. But, you know, I wonder if they're going to do something between Victor and... not Victor, the creature and Vanessa. Because they do have some chemistry and scenes together. And it would kind of make sense, but... I don't know. I still am going for Vanessa and Ethan long term. And they did tease a possible romance between the two. I think they're kind of holding off on that for a more happy, emotional, romantic moment, hopefully. I don't know. But they did tease it as Vanessa sort of like brushed Ethan's hair to the side and stuff. And, you know, she's holding off on doing that with anyone because, you know, of what happens. You know, she goes into that demonic type of mode like she did with Mina's fiancé and Dorian. and so she's afraid for that to happen again if she were to partake in that. You know what I mean? But we kind of know it's going to happen eventually. You know, they're the two main characters on the show. It would feel so great for them to finally come together. No pun intended. And I think they will sort of like form that romantic bond at some point over the series, and I hope that lasts till the end when it does happen. Because I do think, with what Ethan is, of course, being a werewolf, I do think once Vanessa finds out, she will support him, you know, in however which way she can. So I am looking forward to that eventually happening. I think it very well will. And Sir Malcolm was also hooking up with Miss Evelyn Poole, and we know what that means. You know, she's trying to prick him with the ring, you know, getting a sample of his blood for voodoo stuff. As Sir Malcolm's ex-wife, or still sort of technically wife, was being tortured with the voodoo sort of play Evelyn had been doing with the dolls. Of course, making Sir Malcolm's ex-wife seeing both Peter and Mina, you know, her and Sir Malcolm's dead children, as she's causing damage to her brain and having her freak out and having to be held down and stuff. It was really awful to see that woman tortured like that. And it was just even more sick, whereas at the same time they kept on coming back to Evelyn and Sir Malcolm, you know, sort of getting into each other. So that's pretty dark. I really feel for the wife, and, you know, she was kind of driven to commit suicide at the end, as Evelyn most likely wanted. And, you know, she's just trying to build up her prized Vanessa doll, so we'll see how that goes. She got that strand of her hair, but hopefully she doesn't get much further. But yeah, also we've seen Dorian and the transgender Angelique. I can't pronounce the name, sorry. But we've seen them, and I've seen the parallel between what the tale John Clare made up to Lily about, you know, her taking his hand and kissing in front of the men who didn't think they belonged together, didn't think they matched up because of their looks. And then we see Dorian kiss the hand of Angelique, and, you know, in front of the men that was mocking them together. So I thought that was a pretty cool irony right there. You know, pretty good parallel, pretty good similarity. And they are putting more emotion into the storyline with Dorian here. I'm still not sure where this is going. A lot of fans aren't really sure where this is going at the moment, I think. You know, I'd rather have Dorian, if he's going to be on the show, have him be involved with the main storyline, you know. But maybe this will lead to Dorian maybe unveiling that painting of his to her or him. I don't know. But yeah, Dorian's still not very interesting to me. He's still probably my least favorite core character on the show. But yeah, I'll give him a chance though, and the acting has been good between him and her. So it's not completely terrible either, even though it is probably a bit much for some people, I think. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about this week's episode. Again, it was a little bit overshadowed by what they did with Game of Thrones this week, but still nonetheless a very good quality episode that keeps on building and building upon it and upon itself, and I still very much enjoyed it. You know, you can enjoy different shows for different reasons, like I said. And yeah, it's a pretty good episode overall, I'd say, and I'll catch you guys next week, hopefully, for my next review of it, as well as Game of Thrones. But still going to be in the process of moving over the next week or so. We have to actually be out of our apartment by the 15th of June, you know, this month, so things might be hit or miss within the next week or so with my videos. But eventually it'll be up and running at my aunt's, and I'll be able to get back into my more usual my more typical schedule, I should say. But I'll probably post like a channel update when things are actually going to be going fully over there, and we'll need to take time to sort of set everything up over there. I'll probably do one last channel update video before, you know, we actually fully integrate ourselves at my aunt's. So yeah, this isn't the last video I'll make before then, so be on the lookout for that within the next week or two. And yeah, I'm going to stop rambling and talking and repeating myself. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys next week, and peace.